Now, tonight we'll tell you the story of a Ghanaian high jumper, Cadman Evans, who abandoned his footballing career to pursue a career in high jump. He won gold for Ghana in the just ended African Games. My colleague Muftar Nabila followed his story and put together this report to tell it in its full detail. Please do enjoy.
In the bustling community of Mamprobi Police Barracks, amidst the passion for football, emerged a champion of a different kind.
And there's Cadman.
Football is and was his first love, but high jump stole him under interesting circumstances.
My story about high jump, I wasn't a high jumper at first. I was a football player, and a really good football player. I started with FC Bata Kids in Mamprobi. I played really well. I had so many scouts coming in, trying to sign me. My mom and dad hasn't been a fan of being in a football academy. So I went to Swedrow Senior High School.
This thing started way back in 2017, our days in the SHS, Swedrow Senior High School. So we were fortunate to be in the same house, the Gav Johnson House, the way. So from 2015 up to 2017, Cadman was a goalkeeper for the school football team.
Somebody called us from Swedrow that come and see your boy at the Swedrow Sports Stadium. And even there too, surprisingly, he wasn't a footballer, he was a goalkeeper. So he was at the stadium and come and see the way. I said, wow.
I played on the basketball team, played on the soccer team. I tried volleyball, I tried handball. So it was anything other than athletics. So I saw people high jump, and I think in my second year, I saw one of my seniors having a severe injury in the high jump. They were practicing, so he had a serious injury. And since then, it shaped my idea of high jump. I never dreamt of being a high jumper because of that injury.
He wasn't doing high jump. I was the one doing high jump, and I was also doing triple jump.
I saw him high jump. As I said, I never wanted to be a high jumper. But on one fateful afternoon after school, I was going to play soccer, and I saw them high jumping for fun. And I was like, okay, fine. Since the soccer team is not yet ready, let me just try one, and I could go ahead and go do my soccer training. And the funny thing is, I didn't use the approach they were using. I just headed over the bar and just walked away. We had this house inspection every Saturday in high school, yes. And that was something that I wasn't a fan of. I wasn't a dirty guy, but then I wasn't a fan of standing for hours waiting for people to come inspect my room and all that. So I saw the high jump practice on Saturday as a perfect avenue to skip the house inspection. So whenever they were ready for house inspection, I just ran to go high jump. I wasn't the best at it, but then my coach, Coach Isaac, was like, you have potential. Even though you don't have the proper technique, I see so much potential in you, so we'll pick it from there.
He came to me and he said to me, Ima, I want to join your club. And so he came, and fortunately, you see, because we were all in the same house, we ended up competing for our house.
He was a better high jumper than I was, so I wanted to learn from him. And if we were away from each other, maybe the experience, he coaching me, would have been different. So I spoke to my dad, and my dad brought him to our house. So he's still living in our house as of now, and he's like a brother to me right now. I involve him in everything I do. So to me, if you take Cristiano Ronaldo out of the picture, he was my idol back in high school and still is my idol.
Last year at the SHS, where he came second and I came first. Yeah, so I think that's how he see me as a motivation.
And now, he's been sold to the rest of Africa.
And there's Cadman.
his journey to becoming an African high jump champion was filled with obstacles and challenges that tested his resolve and determination.
I am in education, so my concentration was on his books. And growing up as a barracks boy, you know how these boys are. And always where we lived, we had the opportunity to have playing grounds for them. So for him, football was everything. But I wasn't too keen on the sports side of him. I wanted him to be a lawyer. So I was on the book side of him. So anytime they want to push the sports side, I have to also match it to push my book side there. So I virtually call him Lawyer Cadman because I wanted him to be a lawyer and I wanted that to be at the back of his mind.
When he was coming, I told him that I know he will do it. So I'm not surprised about this story, okay? And I know what he can do. And he can do better and better in and outside Ghana. I know what he can do because I know my boy. Cadman, and the word Evans, he's a warrior.
When he came in, I had to condition him apart from the skill work. And most of the athletes were afraid of weight training in terms of conditioning. So he was not too regular. So it took us some time. But then in his final year, his interest was revived.
Whenever Coach Bruce took over, I felt something great coming. Because a kid jumping 185, and my first interhall, I jumped 2 meters. It was like from here to there. So I was like, there's something good coming.
It was one person had to come in, but I knew he would get there. And I've not been disappointed.
Before the very eyes of about 12,000 people at the University of Ghana Stadium on March 22, Cadman Evans Yamoah cleared a height of 2.23 meters to win a gold medal in the 2023 African Games. Before the very eyes of millions of people watching from across the globe, Evans Yamoah became African champion in the African Games.
I'm still living it like it's yesterday. I just high jumped yesterday. I'm still having a hard time believing I did that. I feel honored. Yes, that's what I'll say. I feel honored. And I feel like every athlete, you need a stepping stone. And this is just my stepping stone. So everyone is trying to qualify for the Olympics. And having achieved this height, like a new PR, it's like I'm starting from here, then next week I go here. So it's like we're going back to the drawing board. We resetting our mind, we rechannel our focus. Those 215 bars, 216 bars, we are not focusing on that again. We are going to start practicing with the 225s, 235. So if I hadn't have achieved the 223, probably 221 would have been my mark. That's where I'll starting my jumps from. So 223 is like an opening height for me now. It's another achievement. So I need to build on. I don't have to be like reluctant and stay at 223. Then we are in our outdoor season, if you've noticed. So 223 should be, as I said, like a stepping stone. So more to come, more to come.
Proud is an understatement, because if I should tell you the number of times I've watched those videos circulating, even this morning I've watched it like 4 times, and I still don't believe this is my son. I still cannot come to terms with it, that this is my son. At the stadium, it got to a point I was not even watching him jump. I was just fixing my eyes on the screen there. And that joy, that feeling.
From the football field to the track, Cadman's journey was not without challenges.
At some point, I stopped like athletics because the system wasn't being fair. I got injured, my name wasn't making the list whenever they were traveling to other countries. So I was like, okay, I think they don't see my worth. So I went back to playing soccer and stopped track and field. Then I sustained this shoulder injury, and I was like, okay, fine. Maybe sports isn't my thing, because the more I tried, the more I got hurt.
Just at the time he had the injury, we were preparing to go for first 2 games in Nairobi. And because he had an injury, we thought he couldn't make it. Unfortunately, we didn't put his name on the list. And we went for the competition without him. And that almost, it put him down because he really wanted to be there.
I didn't show up for practice and all that. Coach Bruce was upset, but then I was in school to study and not to do sports. And he kept calling, he kept sending people my way to convince me to coming back into high jump, because he believed I was the best in the university.
He was the only athlete, I saw the potential in him. And he was one athlete I had to keep calling. Why are you not at training? What is wrong with you?
Obviously, before he came over, he was a very talented high jumper and a very talented athlete, but I could tell immediately there was a few technical things that we needed to kind of fix kind of right away. And when we addressed those in the first few weeks and we kind of learned to understand how to execute them, he started just progressing at this phenomenal rate. He jumped 214 at his first competition here to break the Ghana indoor national record. Next meet, he jumped 218. Next meet, he jumped 220. And I'm like, what is going on? I was like, this is ridiculous. And he's an incredible athlete, but what we still need to develop is consistency. And that is what he has done so well this past season. He is more consistent with his run. He is more consistent with his takeoffs. And with consistency brings big jumps. And that we can trust what we do, and we don't really have to think about the technical things in competition. All he has to do is go out and compete and be an absolute competitor. And that is what we saw at the African Games.
And when he jumped the 205 way back, the world record is 2.45 in high jump. So I'll just measure and I tell him, listen, you are between about this height away from the world record. And then Gusa, he jumped 211, so I had to reduce it. Now the distance had reduced. Now he's doing 2.3. And 2.3, if you take out 4.5, that's about 2.2 or so. So he's getting closer. And like I said, if he keeps working, he will hit it. He's one athlete I believe will go very far.
Cadman's leap of 2.23 meters was one of a kind, and he believes he drew power from the Commonwealth Hall students who filled the stands.
Coming back to Ghana, and not just any other university, was the University of Ghana, like my home. And I knew like the kind of people who would be coming around. I didn't want to like disappoint anyone. So I was willing to push myself to the extreme in order to secure a medal. I wasn't aiming at a gold medal, to be honest. It was solely a medal for Ghana, because we were like literally behind the medal table. And when I coached Rose Yamoah through her jumps, I wasn't the one doing the coaching. It was Coach Jenna, Madam Salah, then my coach from the University of Central Missouri, who were like talking to her. But I was closer to Rose, so they relayed the information to me. Then I tell Rose. And the people in the stands were like, Coachy. So I was like, I'm not the one doing the job. Right? The people here are doing the job, and I'm just relaying the information. Then after Rose's success, the pressure fell upon me. I had people in the stand saying, it's your turn. If you don't win gold medal, Ghana, like so many threats, but I found them like to be friendly threats. And people in my DM, people from the Commonwealth Hall, they were like, bro, we believe in you, we know you can do it. So those like really tuned my mind that regardless of what's gonna happen that day, I still need to be on the medal podium. And that day, the last jump 223, when I saw the Moroccan guy sail over the 221, I lost control. I was like, okay, it's now or never. It's either I win this or like I'm losing it. Because I was ranked first throughout all the jumps. And all of a sudden, this kid is taking control. I need to do something like phenomenal. And trust me, if he had jumped the 223, it would have been a bloodbath on our field. Like, we would have pushed ourselves. My coaches know this. My coaches here know that I don't want to see defeat. I want to push myself to like, okay, fine, my body can't take it anymore.
Well, that's the sensational story of Cadman Evans, the Ghanaian high jumper who won gold for Ghana at the African Games. Expect the story to continue to roll on your screens here on the Joy News channel. Well, up next is PM Express special edition with the chairman of the National Democratic Congress. Please do stay.